This is actually better and easier to work with and more fluent, especially if it's a relationship conversation between either a business colleague or someone in your family who doesn't, have that native language. Hey sports fans, more translation devices. This is the WT2 Edge from Timekettle, and if you've seen my M3 review, it's kind of like that, but different. So Timekettle have sent me the WT2 Edge as a follow-up to the M3. So what's the difference? They're both earbuds, they both do translation, but they do it differently. So the M3 is a bit more affordable, and it's kind of designed for more of a I talk, you talk, you talk, I talk, short conversations, and I thought they were great. I thought, they have been in my travel bag since I got them, which is almost a year, well, at least 6 months ago. And I think they are great, but these are better, but they're also more expensive. So what is the difference between the M3 and the WT2 Edge? The core difference between the two is really the way that it does the translation. So the processor in these is more powerful, so it can handle a little bit more when you throw it at it. So it's still got the two earbuds, and there's a couple of ways that you can use them. It does have multiple modes, I'll go through those. The main way is that, again, you wear one earbud, the other person wears the other earbud. And then in that mode, there's two modes within that kind of configuration. The first is simultaneous mode, which is literally you both wear this and it tries to translate on the fly just as you're talking, just like a normal conversation. Is it flawless? No. The delay is anywhere from 0.3 up to all the way up to 3 seconds. So there is some pause required when you're using them. But that isn't necessarily a bad thing. As I've said in my other videos, I have traveled and I've had translators in business meetings and in other situations, and those two take a lot of time to process and to kind of work through the conversation. You speak slowly, in shorter chunks, and then the translator has to have time to translate that and then translate it to the other person, and then back to the translator, who usually writes some notes as the other person's talking so they don't forget, and then translates it back to you. That can be quite time consuming. With these, it's certainly a lot faster. Is it as accurate? No. So if there's nuance involved in the conversation, I wouldn't trust these 100%. But if you're having a conversation with a family member, a friend, someone at a restaurant, in the streets, you want an outside translation, these are a pretty good place to start for sure. Now, the other mode that you can use in that kind of format with each of you having an earbud is the kind of push to talk mode. And the way that works is that you have one, they have one, you set up in the app, so you still do need your phone. You set up the left and right, and I'll show you what that looks like, so that it's facing them for their language and facing you for your language. And then when you want to speak, you just tap the earbud and then you say what you want to say. There's a little beep to acknowledge that it's listening. So you tap, beep, you talk, and immediately after it's translated it, the other person's earbud automatically just plays the translation. And when they're ready to talk, they can push the button and talk back. Now this is let's say that you're traveling, you're walking around a mall with someone, they speak a foreign language, you've got one, they've got one. You don't want it constantly picking up your conversation around you. So when you're ready to talk, hit the button, you chat, and then it translate, boop, back to you. It works really well. I actually quite like this mode. Simultaneous mode, I just find it kind of gets a bit overwhelming if you talk as much and as fast as I do. If there's an agreement between both of you on the fact that the conversation will need some pauses, it's really, really good. And the accuracy of the translation, again, isn't 100%, but is very, very good. Listening mode on these, and a lot of you ask me, like, can I watch foreign language TV and movies with this? Not really, no. It's not quite that fast. If you've ever watched a movie, the cuts are short and fast. There's a lot of language, there's music in the background, they mumble. It's not really, that kind of conversation that you would have knowing that there's a translator listening. So I wouldn't really say try and use these for TV. That's, in my opinion, not really what they're there for. These are to open up conversation between people in the real world, and also to enable travel beyond your borders to places you may not otherwise go for fear of not being able to order food or find a bathroom. So simultaneous mode, listen mode, then there is talk mode or speaker mode, which is where you hold the phone out to the person, you wear the earbuds and you speak, and it will translate for them through your phone, speaker and written. They can reply, it'll use your phone mic and it will translate back into your ear. That's the third mode. And the fourth mode, which I've kind of already mentioned, is listen mode, where you would put the phone in front of someone, they would talk and it would just translate into your ears like you're just listening. That would be suitable for, say, a conference or somewhere where there's somebody speaking and you're just listening. Conference room, even in a meeting where you're not required to have a dialogue. I tried listen mode with movies, and again, it wasn't fantastic, but again, it's not really what it's there for. Like all the Timekettle devices, it can do up to 40 languages, about 93 accents, and I think this device at the moment has 8 offline languages, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's higher now. And again, you use your fish card you can buy fish cards, you get one in the pack, and you redeem them as a credit against a downloadable file. The packaging is awesome. The build quality is lovely. You get like an easy to use little manual. The packaging is just really high quality. They've put a lot of effort into the finish, so you do get a really quality product. Battery life with the earbuds alone in your ear is about 3 hours, which is heaps. And if you use the case, which is also a charging case, USB-C connector, the charging case will give you about another 12 hours of battery time. There is an array of LEDs, and if I can get, there you go, showing there, which is showing 4, which means it's fully charged. And when you charge it up, obviously, if it's flat, it'll start at 1 and then move up until you can see all 4 are charged. So I have 3 of the Timekettle Fluent Talk devices now, and if I was to put them in brackets of which one would suit. So the M3 is a more affordable model. You know, short conversations, I speak, you listen, you speak, I listen, translate, uses the phone in part. You know, you can break it apart and share an earbud each. And that works really, really great. The WT2 Edge is a little bit more of that kind of duplex conversation, where in simultaneous mode, you can attempt to have more of a natural conversation because the unit is always listening and always translating. You do always need your phone for those options. So if you want the push to talk between each other, or you want a more natural conversation, stumping up a little bit of extra money for the WT2 Edge is probably worth it. The third device, obviously, which is actually my favorite, is the T1 Fluent Talk, which is also from Timekettle. And that unit is an Android little handheld device where you push a button and talk. It does all the listen modes and speaker modes, but the push to talk on it I really, really like. This is not really a conversational device either. This also won't work if you want to use it for movies and TV. But for me, traveling, it's much more natural to pull that out of my pocket, speak. And so you can check my review out on that, which is on the interwebs somewhere. I should add that the M3 is also good for music listening and has active noise cancelling. So you can use it kind of as earbuds as well as a translation unit and kind of switch very quickly in and out of those modes. So that's really it for me for the Timekettle WT2 Edge. I've tried it out on a few languages: Korean, Chinese, and Spanish. And, again, it's never going to be, well, we're not at the stage with the technology that it is 100% natural, but we're getting there. And the speed of the processors and the ability for the AI to translate all of those words is getting better and better all the time. So yeah, for now, this is probably as good as you're gonna get for as close to conversation with an earbud translator as is out there now. I think a lot of people are talking about the Google, Translate, and that's just as good, but you know what? I disagree. This is actually better and easier to work with and more fluent, especially if it's a relationship conversation between either a business colleague or someone in your family who doesn't, have that native language. If you want to do some basic translation of, where's the toilet? Yeah, like Google Translate will do that, but this does so much more than just that. Thanks for being with me. I hope that's helped. Any questions, let me know, and have a great day. Stay safe and talk to you soon. Bye for now.